And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where we're going to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
We're going to educate, entertain, enlighten, and help you win. And we want you to save our hotline number in your phone because at some point you're going to need it. 813-670-7372. Bookmark our website as well, consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. You'll see links to all of our expert contributors, 80-plus show partners and expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled, we vetted, and we bring on the air to help provide you a lot of great information that's going to help save you money, help you avoid a lot of commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community, consumerqb.com. You can also submit the form, and there's an email form that will come directly through to us at consumerqb.com. You can see all the links and keep up with our events and blogs there as well. And we got Intelligent Talk Radio here. We got some intelligent folks here in studio. We're going to go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, Jason Hunter. He's a reverse mortgage specialist, Fairway Independent Mortgage, that Jason Hunter Group. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Hey,
Good
my
to be
pleasure.
Here.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Thank
What
you.
are we going to talk about today?
All right, today we'll dive into the reverse mortgage world and retirement planning and some of our goals to help change how retirement's done in America. So, born and raised in the Tampa Bay area, and grateful to be involved and out in the community and helping.
Awesome. Good stuff. And my man, Captain Matt Bruce of Captains America Third Watch. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
Thanks for coming on and appearing on our show. You're a nationally syndicated radio show host here and based out of Salem Communications in Tampa Bay. You've 860, 930, and 1380 The Biz, 2 o'clock in the morning to 6 a.m.
The all-night guy.
Holding down the fort, keeping that night watch going.
That's right. We call it the third watch.
Yeah, I like that. So the third watch, kind of, and a veteran as well, and a captain as well. And thanks for your service as well.
Well, I thank you. I'd do it again if I could, but my son's doing it for me now.
Nice. Good deal. Yeah, so that's awesome. So, and I go on your show on Wednesdays as well, 5:30 in the morning to about 5:45 or so. And, thanks for the honor there to be on your show and to, go on and educate your listeners about real estate and, some of the things we're doing as well.
You do a good job, Brandon.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So, yeah, we're going to talk with Captain Matt Bruce and talk a little bit about his show and some of the things as well. The economy. We'll talk about the economy doing well, and we'll jump into that great content as well. Let's give a shout-out to our official cleaning partner, the Merry Maids. Let Merry Maids take care of your winter cleaning. We know clean. Leave the details to us at Merry Maids. They're licensed, bonded, insured, customized cleaning. They have equipment and supplies that are provided, reliable service, screened and trained employees, additional services, and the same team cleans whenever possible. They are the winners of the Women's Choice Award as well. Let Merry Maids take care of your cleaning. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you when you talk to them, and you're going to get special discounts and incentives just by mentioning the REQB code. And we are going to help you win in any marketplace. And as you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. I've got a couple of hot properties I want to let you know about. 1024 Mandalay Avenue in Clearwater. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath property. Beautiful home, tropical feel. You got beautiful pavers all the way around, and it's just a short walk over to the beach, and you are on the north beach of Clearwater, and it's a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Beautiful property in Apollo Beach as well. 6508 Bimini Court in Apollo Beach. This is a fisherman's paradise. Bring your boat, enjoy the outdoors in Apollo Beach. $690,000 listing, over 5,600 square feet, and it's a split floor plan. Beautiful property. Great pool back there as well with direct bay access. And if you're a fisherman, you can appreciate how Apollo Beach is set up. You're just directly out and you're shooting out into the waters and you're out there fishing, enjoying our beautiful Tampa Bay scenery. The weather is sweet. That's right. This time of year, it's super nice. It's not too hot, not too cold. Just a great time to be enjoying the outdoors. Got a boat booked this weekend on the lake, so going to have some fun out there. But let's jump into business. Let's talk about some business here, Jason, because helping retirees, helping the seniors is part of your business, especially when we talk about this reverse mortgage product. It was developed by the Reagan administration, and it can really help seniors age in place.
Correct, yeah. And so what we're seeing is, unfortunately, more retirees are running out of funds. And if you looked back a few years ago, looking back at retirees, it was seen as kind of the loan of last resort. But now there's professors speaking and sharing on retirement planning, and a reverse mortgage has become a tool for those 62 and older to be able to increase their legacy, increase their cash flow monthly, which is probably the most important part of retirement, as they're losing income or they're not deriving income from either traditional employment sources.
That's right.
They can now prolong their retirement years. Unfortunately, those retiring at 62, the percentage is that 84% will run out of income before they pass. 50% will run out at 68. So obviously it's better to continue working later into life at this era, or in this era. But if we can increase their wealth or utilize equity in their property, it's a good thing. So
yeah. With rising health costs, those unforeseen events, medical events, maybe a car crash. There's a lot of reasons why seniors might want to reach out to you, Jason, and take a look at it. Just at least setting up the line of credit. You don't have to use it all at once, right?
So they can. There's a few different ways to utilize the cash, or there's also a home for purchase option where they can put less down into the property, but the big goal of not having a mortgage payment. And the 3 lump sums, they can take cash all at once. They can schedule it on a 5 to 10 year schedule, or they can utilize the line of credit as they feel like they'd like to, which will help them from a tax deduction perspective as well.
Right. Yeah. So it's a product that's going to help seniors 62 years or older. Now let's talk about that HECM, the home equity conversion mortgage for purchase, because that's a great product. Especially now, think about this out there if you're a realtor as well. Attention realtors. I know a lot of realtors listen to our show as well. Title companies. When you think about this, it's a product that will help you be able to put, let's just use a $50,000 example, or a $150,000 down payment. You're buying a $300,000 asset, roughly a 50% loan to value. So instead of draining all your retirement funds, moving down from up north, maybe to northeast, buying a property for $300K, paying it off, this would be an opportunity to do a home equity conversion mortgage, reverse mortgage for purchase. Yep. And then you're able to buy a bigger house, potentially if you want a bigger house. And for the agents out there, that's a bigger house means a bigger percentage on your commission as well.
Correct. And what we're seeing, we have obviously a lot of Midwestern folks moving down here, and unfortunately the $150,000 house, $200,000 house in Ohio isn't covering the same ground or quality as they're used to, but now they can qualify for more and also not have a mortgage payment because of that. So instead of feeling the traditional mindset, which some of this is just a paradigm shift or way of thinking,
exactly,
kind of interesting thought. Why do we think we want to put all of our money in our house?
Right.
What is the big goal today of paying the home off? Or is it more about cash flow and using the assets today to enjoy? So that person moving down can put down less, say, at this point, and then also utilize the line of credit within the property as they need it throughout their years in the property.
Yeah, so it's a great product. There's a lot of misnomers out there, and I think the key word you said was paradigm shift. The first time I heard that word paradigm, it was in a Stephen Covey book, and I think it was the 7 Habits maybe of highly effective people. He talked about how he was on a train, and he's on his train, and he's riding from destination point to one other, and there's kids running around. All these kids are just going around crazy, and he just thought, man, who, he started building up in himself all of this anger towards the parent, and he said, who is this parent letting their kids run around? And then finally he built up the nerve to say, excuse me, sir, don't you think you should do something about your kids? They're just going crazy on this train and they're interrupting people. I'm trying to read the paper. And he goes, yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry, we just came from the hospital and their mother just died. So think about the paradigm shift that he had sitting in that seat, growing from anger to understanding. And I think a lot of times that's what we need to do when it comes to certain products and certain strategies in life.
So we like to utilize the example of 3 different buckets. So if you have your one bucket, which you utilize most in earlier years in life, which is, say, income.
Okay.
So your money comes into that bucket. Second bucket is, say, your nest egg, whether that's your 401k, your retirement accounts, your checking accounts. And then your third bucket's your equity, right? And so traditionally, especially 62 and younger, the goal is to pay your mortgage down to reduce your amount of interest you're paying, or traditionally to build wealth. But if we think of the other side, is if I had you asked me for $100 bill and I give you a rubber $100 bill, or I give you a cash $100 bill, which one would you rather?
I believe the cash, right?
The cash, right? And so, but in our house, we think, well, that rubber $100 bill is kind of the equity in our house.
Right.
Are you going to utilize that, or, and then for others, would you rather not have a mortgage payment? There's still the taxes and insurance payment.
Yeah, and then you think about, you look into the tax side of that as well. Jake Alexander Financial, he's our go-to guy. He's an enrolled agent with the IRS. By the way, it's tax time. Reach out if you need help with that. But, yeah, great point. So now you also have tax incentives as well.
Yeah, to save on that side also,
So it's an overall comprehensive approach. A lot of times we talk about on the show how we bring these expert contributors together. They all have their different areas of expertise, and I think a lot of times it's a comprehensive approach. It's the mortgage partner talking with the accountant, who's talking with the retirement specialist, who's talking with the realtor, and it's a balance of all these things. So
to help the consumer.
That's right. Jason Hunter, reverse mortgage specialist, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Captain Matt Bruce in studio as well of Captain's America's Third Watch. And when we come back, more from our expert contributors. And an 8-year-old boy, homeless for years, gets his own bed for the first time and cries tears of joy. To hear that story and more from our experts on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to ConsumerQB.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill. Our official restaurant partner is Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. Excellent food, great wine and food and all types of great stuff. You got the cozy environment. You have very friendly service over at Brio Tuscan Grill International Plaza. And we did a live show from there a couple weeks back. It was a lot of fun. We're probably going to do another one coming up maybe in April. And having a lot of fun here in studio. Consumer Quarterback Show. We've got Jason Hunter on set, reverse mortgage specialist, Fairway Independent Mortgage, and Captain Matt Bruce in the house as well. He's a nationally syndicated radio show host here in the Tampa Bay market, syndicated nationwide. So 860, 930, and of course 1380 The Biz, the station you're listening to right now, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. He's watching the third watch for us. So tell us a little bit more.
Well, first of all, I never thought I'd be on the radio, Brandon. That's number one. And number two, I'm very lucky. God blessed me with an opportunity to do something after having almost been killed 3 times in the line of duty. First time was in the military. Was wounded twice, but the second time was worse than the first. I got carried back from Vietnam, and I was told I'd never walk again.
Wow.
Well, first of all, there's only one person that has the power in that, and that's the power of the Lord God Almighty.
Yeah.
So I put my trust in Him, and I said, Lord, if you get me out of this mess, I promise I'll never let you down. So I learned how to walk again, and I wanted to be a firefighter. My dad was a small-town fire chief in a small town adjacent to a small city, so I wanted to be a firefighter.
Yep.
So I worked myself back into shape. It took me almost 2 years to do that, and I was able to do it. My big competition was not the written test. We had the civil service test. I scored #1 on it, but the physical agility test. And I had to finish in the top 3 because they were only going to take 3 firefighters. Well, I finished 3rd. I got very lucky. But the best thing that came out of that was, back in those days, we got paid $5,750 a year. Imagine that, to be a firefighter.
Wow.
2 days a week, 24 on, 24 off, and you rotated back and forth. So I did that for going on 25 years. I started out in Oswego, New York. I went from Oswego, got promoted, went down to Syracuse because we could transfer our rank, got promoted to captain while I was in Syracuse. Then I got an opportunity to go to the New York State Fire Training School as a fire instructor, and they assigned me a territory. And they said, well, we've got this territory that's open down in Long Island, which also encompasses part of Queens. Would you like to go? And I talked to my wife, and she says, oh, I love the shows. I'd love to go, this, that, and the other. So we moved down there. Spent 5 years down there, and my last 5 years of my career, my very last assignment was the World Trade Center. And I got caught up in that, and I got hurt again. This time it was such that I had to retire because of my injuries. So while I was recouping, I didn't know what to do. And my son, who had gone in the Naval ROTC program, came home one day and said, hey, Dad, I just signed up for the platoon leaders course. And I says, wait a minute. The Navy's got squadrons. He says, Semper Fi, I'm going to be a Marine. So
Yeah.
26 years later, he's a full bird colonel, and I'm proud to say that he just got his invite to the Marine Corps War College, which means he could be a brigadier general very soon.
Wow.
We'll see. And he already lets
really
me know
cool.
he outranks me. So that led me to
Yeah, he told you that one.
that led me to my radio career, because I was sick and tired of seeing the way things started out. You know, the country was all behind the military to begin with. Then all of a sudden, here came these people out of the left, the people that had been there in the 60s, and they started to get back out on the streets. And I said, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
Right.
So I started a blog, and I started a podcast called Troop Talk Radio. And what I did was I went out of my way to talk to young men and women that were going off to war.
Right.
And then that led to something else, and somebody heard me, and Trip Walker, who was the host of Troop Talk Radio, the real Troop Talk Radio in the Department of Defense. I didn't know there was another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he says, I'd like to have you on my program and talk about the military from a dad's perspective, this, that, and the other. One thing led to another. The DOD liked what they heard. So I spent the next 3 years on the radio as the host of Troop Talk Radio for the Department of Defense, DIVIDS, every weekend, all across America, on Armed Forces radio and television. And it was just a great time for me. Now, that led to the Captain's America radio show,
Yeah.
which was a weekly show. And I figured, well, I'm going to do it 1 hour a week, right? That's going to be it. 1 hour led to 2, 2 hours led to 3. I changed the station from where I was going. I was on a very small station in Bradenton. Then I moved to the flagship station of Sarasota, the market in Sarasota, AM and FM. I wound up on that station. I stayed there for the next 8 years, built up a top-notch radio show, and we were in the upper echelon of the market, always up in the higher ratings and all that. I did mornings, I did afternoons, I did mid-mornings, whatever they wanted me to do, and it worked very well. And then somebody heard me in Tampa on a big market, on a big powered market station, and they went, "Hey, man, we got an opportunity for you to come up here. I'd like you to do afternoon drive." So myself and a buddy on another station who's also nationally syndicated went back and forth trading Arbitron ratings in the afternoon. It was a lot of fun doing that. And as the show grew, it grew because it was never about me. There is no I, me, or mine. What we do, it's all about the message, we the people, and America. I use American first. I am American first, and everything comes after that. So to make a long story short, another station heard me north of Tampa and said, "Boy, we want you to do our mid-morning show." So they brought me up there, did the mid-morning show. Again, the Arbitron ratings were off the chart because they were in a different market up there. And everything worked fine. And then Salem heard me and said, "We got this idea." And I said, "Well, what's that?" "We don't have anybody of any quality on the air at night. We've got these programs, and they talk about being put up in a spaceship and truckers that don't know what trucks are and this, that, and the other. And we'd like to have you try that, see what happens." So I did that. One thing led to another.
What year was that?
That was 2010.
Okay.
So I did that. Actually, it was 2010 when I came to Tampa. Then I went up, then I came back. In 2012, we started here. But in 2012, we started with no stations. We were on AM 860, The Answer. That was it. Then 930 got brought into the mix because that was my base in Sarasota. Then 1380 came along about 2 years later. We added that. And the show has just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown to where with the different, and you talk about Facebook and whatnot, I've now got 700,000 followers over there.
Nice. That's a lot.
That's what happened. It's all about the message. It has nothing to do with me.
700,000 followers on social. That's pretty cool. That's a great amount. And then you're in 60 markets nationwide, 60 different stations.
Yep, I'm in 5 top 10 markets in America.
Yeah, that's
including
pretty cool.
this one's number 19, but soon to be and I'm on Atlanta too.
So and you know, again, thank you for your service. A really cool story and you know, inspiring to see how you've grown that in the different markets. And you know, right now we're looking at a time of really, you know, optimism in the business community. We see a lot of jobs being created, the infrastructure plan that's going to be rolled out potentially. And, you know, Jason as well, kind of open question for you both is, you know, this time it looks like it's a great time for investment, real estate wise, lots of other, you know, sectors as well. But, you know, the economy is looking strong. I mean, the investment's looking great. And, you know, business community likes it right now. They're happy.
Well, my friends that I talk to, my business owners that I talk to, they're either expanding their business or hiring more people. One person is actually franchising a business because he's got a great idea. And the tax regulations, the reforms, the lowering the taxes, I've had several people. We started a Facebook page called Trump Tax Challenge. Send in your return. Show us how much you're saving in terms of money. We've got people coming in that are getting $70, $80, $50, $40, $30. Even had one person said, "Hey, I'm getting $10 more a week on my check. That's a tank of gas."
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yep. What about you, Jay?
That's impressive.
You hearing some good stuff on your side too?
We are as well, and just the quality of lending in today's environment is much greater than the challenges. So unfortunately, people, you know, still remember the crash or down times, but a lot of what, you know, played in those challenges were the loose lending. So
yes,
while we have options for challenged borrowers, the credit quality is very high. We're seeing a lot of you know, high income earners, especially in the Bay Area, more moving to the area, and then a lot of salary borrowers are more fixed income positions that are making a good living and can afford what they're purchasing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's the challenge you see in a market where we have limited inventory is as long as if the wages remain stagnant like that. At one point, I think Sarasota was the poster child for at least Florida, maybe the nation, is that you had firefighters, you had school teachers that couldn't even live within the city or the district where they were going to work because the wages weren't rising and the appreciation got so out of hand. The homes and the housing expenses cost so much. Yeah. They were priced out of the market.
Well, and the entrepreneurial spirit in this area, I mean, Florida in general, but especially in the Bay Area, I mean, is just impressive. I mean, a lot of different ways to grow as a person and grow wealth. the economy or in the United States today. So.
Yeah, it really is a great place to live, work, and play. We talk about that a lot here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and you talk about the investment monies flowing downtown with the different investment, going on with Vinnick and his group and the different groups, and then you got the St. Petersburg downtown, the investments there with Bill Edwards and his group, all these different business leaders, entrepreneurs. By the way, we got the mayor, Clearwater, Mayor George Craddock is coming on the show. All the mayors work really well together to help bring prosperity to the region, jobs to the region, infrastructure, events. We talked about in yesterday's show, we had Rob Higgins on the show, the Tampa Bay Sports Commission director, talk about how we bring in the big events. The Super Bowl's coming back in 2021. A lot of cool things happening here with the Tampa Bay market, the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. And we want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. Think of this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your marketing, your health wheel. Each spoke extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners. ConsumerQB.com is your number one resource when it comes to that. ConsumerQB.com. Stay with us on the other side of the break. We got an 8-year-old boy who's homeless for years, gets his own bed for the first time, and cries tears of joy. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at ConsumerQB.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm also the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, a published author and professional speaker as well. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. Real excited about a lot of the new developments with that Business in a Box, where we're going to be marketing that nationwide, partnered up with Ken Shamrock and Des Woodruff, having some fun on that. And check it out on Amazon. And a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. Compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. We got a property out in Riverview, 6601 Kreikel Avenue in Riverview. We got an open house going on this weekend as well. $349,000 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, over 3,300 square feet, large backyard, fenced-in backyard. It's great for a family here. And you've got a beautiful property in the Bloomingdale area of East Hillsborough County. Clearwater has a nice property here, 2614 Cove K Drive Unit number 302. It's an updated unit, 1 bedroom, 1 and 1 half bath. Nice entry level starter home, 810 square feet, $115,000. Very affordable for this Cove Cay community that has golf, waterfront, marina, clubhouse, restaurant, pro shop, tennis, sauna, fitness, and jacuzzi, pool and jacuzzi. So a lot of cool things happening with this property here, and a lot of great things happening in beautiful Tampa Bay. This segment's brought to you by Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean altitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway, rooftop yoga on the weekends from the 360 Lounge, and you've got the Castile restaurant on site as well. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the Castile restaurant. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get 20% off of your room stay. And let them know the REQB code at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach, our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. In studio today, we've got Jason Hunter, reverse mortgage specialist at Fairway Independent Mortgage. We have Captain Matt Bruce as well, nationally syndicated talk show host, Captain's America's Third Watch. And you got 60 different markets that he's in. You can catch me on his show as well, Wednesday mornings, 5:30 to 5:45 roughly. And we have a lot of fun, and we talk about real estate and some of the things happening. Let's kind of stay on that same topic of overall the economy. So we see, pulling out your crystal ball here, Jason. What do you see happening in 2018 as far as the economy, jobs? What do you see happening?
So my outlook is continued growth. I feel like the economy will continue performing well. As we spoke before, income and wages are high. This market that we're in is in a great position to continue growing and thriving. We have more people moving here, each day, week, and month.
Yep.
Challenge, we'll see interest rates rise a little bit. Obviously, we'll see home values continue rising, which is a good thought for some and a challenging thought for others.
Yeah, I see a potential problem with commercial real estate just because of the consolidation with these online retailers, the Amazons, the movement, toward an online buying process, the convenience of the smartphone apps. I see that. I heard a stat too. I was listening to Shark Tank's Damon John in his book, his audiobook. He said, or maybe no, he was on stage at Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con, and he talked about, for every job that Amazon adds, it takes away 4 other jobs. So sometimes this consolidation, this how we like to just use the smartphone to order, it really, if you think about a deeper level, you're taking away jobs, traditional jobs too. But it's competition, I guess. It's competition at its best, and that's what's kind of built, our economy. What about your take, Captain?
Well, because I talk to people all around the country, I hear that it's doing very well around the country with some exceptions. Now, out west in California, businesses are leaving there because they turned around and the first thing they did was raise the taxes.
Yep.
They charged a tax on a tax for gasoline, 50 cents a gallon.
Yep.
Now, that didn't make very much sense. Oregon's done it. Washington State's done it. Businesses are moving out. They're going to the non-income tax states like Nevada, Tennessee, Florida, New Hampshire. They're moving into there. But, and this is both businesses and individuals. But the thing of it is I see, from what I'm seeing right now, and the regulations being lifted from businesses, which gave us this first shot in the GDP, I honestly believe we're going to see 4 and possibly 5% this year with the GDP.
Yeah, I think so. There's so much infrastructure investment. You've got the tax cuts we're just now seeing some of the beginning of that. See the bonuses handed out from Disney and other companies. The manufacturing jobs that are returning. Alabama got a couple nice contracts. I believe it was Saturn, maybe. What was the other company? The car dealership. Mazda. Mm-hmm. So you look at those, and then the overall cumulative effect of those trickle down. The dollars that are going to flow through the economy. It's very optimistic from a business community. So a lot of times in my mind that brings me back to real estate. You look at the ability to buy an asset. Especially even with the 4 unit, that's still considered a residential buy. So you can buy a duplex, triplex, or a quad, live in one side, and then for a veteran, they can utilize 100% financing, and then utilize basically a lot of times, like for example with Platinum MVP Realty, will rebate back to that buyer, a veteran, a quarter to a half a point discount back to their closing cost. I know a lot of the local lenders will do nice rebates to them as well. They can basically get into a home without any money out of pocket. So that's a nice investment opportunity. You look at, where do you put your money these days?
And that's exactly what the VA loan was all about, to be able to allow veterans to get into homes easily so they would be able to do that without a lot of out-of-pocket expense.
Right. Yeah, and it's, and there's a lot of mistakes that our government makes and they have made in the past. And, but that's the one thing that we can point at and say, man, they really got that one right.
Yeah, it's a great product.
Yeah.
Actually, we have one of my loan officers in the office is a Vietnam vet as well. So he's there to serve and help vets also.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad was an MP in the military, and uncles, aunts, a lot of people served. So when you look at the economy in general, you look at the optimism that we're having, the ability, the infrastructure investment. It really is. It's a great time to look at that because a lot of times you compare as well. Like one of the industries that I kind of like to pick on a little bit is the financial advising. You got somebody that got on with a company. They maybe took some tests, passed some tests, but they go out there and call themselves a wealth advisor, but they're not even a fiduciary in a lot of cases. Tony Robbins, my number one mentor, I've been to his business mastery course in Namale, Fiji. I went to West Palm Beach last year. He talks about how that industry in particular, it's one of the ones that has basically lifted a lot of money from Americans' wallets because of the fiduciary, for instance, and the mutual funds. The mutual funds, 95% of mutual funds don't outperform the market, so you're better off just putting your money into an indexed, an index fund like the S&P or the Dow. So, that's why we started this show. It's about helping people understand, the different investments that they can make and the opportunities for failure, the commission-based advice that's out there. You see that so prevalent in our community.
And the good thing about what you're doing is you're actually working with people, and I've seen some of the results, talk to some of the people that you work with, and this is a shameless plug on your part, but they tell me, Brandon's really done some good things for us, and there you go.
Yeah,
they
I appreciate
you
that.
have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we take great pride in that. It's really, when you look at today's market, we wanted to differentiate and be different from a lot of other companies, and how can we differentiate? What can we do to help people? So that's one thing that we really take great pride in.
I think your marketing, your exposure, your expertise and knowledge sharing with your clients, resonates in the community and speaks out to all of us. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Absolutely. So we have, so looking forward, we talk about economy. We talk about, a lot of the things that you look at, and I like the idea too of the motivational speaking. Let's talk about that a little bit. So how are you getting out there? What are you doing, and who maybe we're listening now that can help you?
Well, I talk to a lot of veterans. I talk to a lot of young people. I talk to military academies. I talk to firefighters. I talk to police officers.
Yep.
I talk to kids that are going to the trade schools, National Aviation Academy for one. And what I do is I let them know that you've got to understand, especially let's go to first responders first. There is no I, me, or mine in what you do. You rely on your team. You rely on the people beside you because they're going to save your life. For example, in the fire service, your best friend in a burning building is your fire hose. Yep. You never let go of the hose, and you never let go of the guy that's behind you or in front of you, because you have to find your way back out. And believe me, it's not easy when you go out of a burning building. Sometimes you're on your hands and knees following that hose out the door. Same thing in the military. You rely on your team. As long as you put your back to my back, and we were involved in a 360 firefight, I could have cared less what color you were, what your religion was. I didn't care as long as we were all standing at the end of it.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about. And when it comes to motivation, we were there with the PTSD. We were there in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. We did it ourselves. We had encounter groups. So we came back and we actually went to VFWs that wouldn't recognize us, but we'd go there to use the hall because we weren't in a war. And we'd go to American Legion posts. We'd go to church halls, meeting halls. We'd meet there, sit down, and we'd sit there and we'd just debrief each other. That's what we do. We debrief each other, just like they do with a major revolution, with any type of rescue or a police incident. And it worked. We were the originators of that. And now they're all, can't wait to say, oh, well, you've had stress and you've had 6 tours and you've had 7 tours. Well, I know guys in Vietnam that had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tours. And I'm telling you, when they came back, they didn't know how to unwind. They didn't know how to be part of America. But we sat down, we talked to them, we did it together, and we all worked as a unit.
Yeah. When we come back, I want to ask you, some of the places where people can help. What are some of the better groups to work with? Because I think that's a good space that can sometimes be watered down, and the dollars don't actually make it where they need to be. I want to ask you those questions and more from Jason Hunter as well. He's a reverse mortgage specialist here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fairway Independent Mortgage. Captain Matt Bruce, nationally syndicated talk show host, and our feel-good story of the week is an 8-year-old boy. He's homeless for years. He gets his own bed. Find out what happens next here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. ConsumerQB.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty, giving a shout out to Chef Will Wagner. He's our healthy meal expert contributor. He's a chef. He delivers these awesome meals to me every week. He can deliver to your home or office. Reach out if you'd like more information to connect with Chef Will Wagner. He provides these awesome healthy meals, all organic veggies, natural proteins, and he delivers them fresh to your home or office, and he can do the same for you. He delivers some great food to me, and it's helping me stay on my diet and on that plan and eating healthy. You know, what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? Chef Will Wagner does a great job with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty, and I got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. This is a duplex on the beach in St. Pete Beach, 3610 Casablanca Avenue, St. Pete Beach, and it's just north of the Don Cesar Hotel, just south of Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, right on the beach there, and it's one block off the beach, and it's a rare find on the beach here. It's an income-producing asset, 1,954 square feet, a duplex listed at $599, and it's a great opportunity to invest in beautiful St. Pete Beach. And I got a property up in New Tampa area. This is 10217 Timberland Point Drive in Tampa, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. It's in the Arbor Green subdivision, gated community, $329,000, over 3,900 total square feet. This home is updated. It's got a beautiful bonus room, and the community has some amazing features as well. You got a fitness room with new equipment, tennis courts, resort-style heated pools, many playgrounds, and you got a boardwalk to the middle school. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com, PlatinumMVPRealty.com for more about Platinum MVP's Realty's listings, and the Consumer Quarterback Show website is ConsumerQB.com. So in studio today, and we've got Jason Hunter, reverse mortgage specialist, Fairway Independent Mortgage, and he's the leader of the Jason Hunter Group. And we also have Captain Matt Bruce, nationally syndicated talk show host here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And so I want to go back to Jason. I wanted to get, I think a lot of times it helps to have a story to kind of paint the picture. We talk about the HECM, the home equity conversion mortgage, the reverse mortgage product. That's such a good product for certain situations and scenarios, helping seniors age in place. But why don't you give us a recent success story? I think it helps paint the picture for some of our listeners.
Yeah, so there's plenty of scenarios where clients start out fearful, right? They're just the unknown. We spoke earlier on the paradigm shift of fear of costs being too high, fear of losing their home at some point. If they live longer than planned, and those stories or those thoughts really aren't true in today's environment, because just like any home ownership scenario, if someone doesn't pay their taxes or insurance, there's consequences to that, but it's really a safe product. And so a lot of our big wins are just clients being excited once they understand the differences to that. And we have a lot of training and videos and education and sharing to enlighten them or share the differences. There's quite a few examples of, one that comes to mind is, two different scenarios, but one where we had a client that is moving down and ended up deciding to rent because they couldn't afford what they could afford up north, but they had a hard time coming to grips with taking out a mortgage. They had been mortgage free for 30 plus years. And we ended up, through a referral of an agent, getting them into a property where they only had to put 50% down. Probably about 4 months after moving into the property, they had some health challenges, and followed back up with us after the positive of the story and finding the light within the health challenges. They were really grateful they didn't end up putting all the money down within the property and having some cash flow, having some more wealth. We've had a few letters written from past clients where they enjoyed sharing the funds with their a daughter that was starting a new business, and being able to see them use the funds or the assets at that time versus having it all just sit in the property. Or if we go with other scenarios of a client that was able to pull equity out of the property and now sees that they'll have access to continued growth of equity as well. So
right. Yeah, you want to keep a reserve. You want to keep that money in the bank rather than putting it all into the asset, because cars break down, medical happens. Maybe you want to help out a grandkid that's going into college with the rising cost of college. There's a lot of reasons why you want to stay liquid and have that money there as an emergency fund.
Or we think of thoughts with the hurricanes, right? So if you go south in Florida, you go into Houston, you have all your money sitting in a property, and unfortunately you can't get insurance money back out or anything like that. So I think it's just a different world we're living in today, where we're trying to stay ahead of risk and be prepared for challenges and scenarios. And the reverse mortgage gives those 62 and older access to their equity, or keeps more money in their pocket. And as we shared before, the three different buckets, keeping more in their nest egg versus in their home.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Captain Matt Bruce, wanted to ask you a question, because this is something that comes up. I think people want to do good. They want to be able to give money to a charity. There's so many different nonprofits. There's some bad ones, there's some good ones, and there's some better ones. Now, especially when it comes to veterans, who do you see or who do you recommend as one of the best nonprofits to support?
Well, I'm going to give you three. First of all, coming up on February the 17th, and you are invited, and everybody watching or listening to this program are invited to come down to Tropicana Field for the Project Hero Florida Freedom Ride. And what it is Project Hero is an organization that deals with veterans' needs, all different needs, PTSD, medical, mental, whatever the situation might be. We're going to have hundreds of veterans and non-veterans alike, bicyclists there, riding in a non-competitive nature. There's a non-competitive 25-mile ride. If you can ride that far, fine. If you can't, you ride a mile, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go back to where you came from. Then there's two competitive races. One is 25 miles, sponsored by the U.S. Cycling Association. The other's a 50-mile race, and you'll see veterans there with no legs and basically their arms pedaling a bike.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be by those guys.
Yeah.
I want to be by those guys. And I can't ride a bike, but I'm going to be there somehow. Even if they got to tow me in a wheelbarrow. But here's the thing. ProjectHero.org. check it out, sign up, be involved. Brandon, again, you're involved. Everybody listening is involved to come down there and be with the veterans. You get a free breakfast. You get a free lunch. It's going to be a great day. Saturday, February the 17th. Starts at 8 o'clock. You want to be there about 7 a.m. But then we have the Wounded Warriors, which turned around and reorganized themselves. Now, they had a little bit of a problem. They got some people in there that weren't thinking about the best interests of the veterans, and they were kind of taking money that they shouldn't have taken, if you will. But the original people went back in there, took over Wounded Warriors Foundation.
Okay.
And now they're doing a good job. And also, My Warriors Place here locally, very good organization. They go out of their way to have horses and fishing and golf and shooting and whatever. My Warriors Place, they've got an event coming up February 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then Concerned Veterans for America is an organization made up for all veterans, but it was predominantly put together by the Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans when they came back. Because, again, like anybody else, we came back, we had no voice. They had no voice.
Right.
And we got behind them, and they formed an organization like we did with the Vietnam Brotherhood or the Vietnam Veterans of America. So kudos to them for doing that. Great bunch, and I belong to that group too.
Yeah, to have that voice, to have that support when you come back after you risk everything for the country. That just seems like something. Wow, like we got to have that. Years ago with the problems with the VA, with the issues that you see, it breaks your heart when you read those stories. You hear those stories about people that served our country, risked it all, and then they're waiting to get whatever procedure they need, whatever type of access to a doctor they need. And so, what are you hearing? Have those been cleared up? Are we?
No, they're not. They're not cleared up, but they're getting, as the problems present themselves, they're being taken care of. As the problems come out, then they are being taken care of by the different advocacy groups as well as attorneys that get involved. There's attorneys that represent veterans. That's all they do, that sort of thing. And again, the biggest mistake was when they didn't have the cohesion between the records coming from the DOD going immediately to the VA when they left the service. That was all done by paper. For years, it was all done by paper. That's why there was such a backlog. They take the computer records and transform them to literally 3-ring binders and folders, and that's why it took so long to get anything done.
Wow.
Now, at least, we've come into the computer age to where the VA said, yep, we got to modernize, and they're doing it, but it's taking a lot of time to get these records together. But as they do, things are getting better.
So lack of funding, is that what caused that, or lack of leadership?
It was part of it, but it was leadership because they used to appoint people. Well, I'm going to appoint this 4-star general because he was really good and I know he'll straighten it out.
Right.
Well, the problem was the 4-star general knew nothing about medical.
Didn't have the
and Dr.
business
David
knowledge
Shulkin, who's now the VA secretary, was in the medical end. He ran the medical end at the VA and was doing a very good job there at the VA, straightening that out, so then they put him in charge of the whole thing. So you got to put people in charge of things that know what they're doing and know the system.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to have that actual knowledge, the inside knowledge of how to actually lead and to So that's good. Great news. It's things are getting better in the VA. I want to thank Jason Hunter, reverse mortgage specialist, Fairway Independent Mortgage. I want to thank Captain Matt Bruce as well. Thank you for coming in, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for a stranger. Maybe buy a serviceman or woman lunch. Do something kind. Pack up some leftover food you may have. Carry it with you to and from your commute to work, and hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community. Clothing is needed. Jackets are needed. Donate those to your local food banks and churches, and continue to tune into our show. We'd love to engage with you as well on social media at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Facebook, Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter and Instagram, at Brandon Rhymes PA on Facebook as well. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.